Hi, good now, loves. Good now. Kim Robin says good now and peace. Radical readers. I love it, love it, love it. Ya está bien? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Just downloaded this book. Yay. Started reading this morning. Lovely. Power versus Force was a huge aha for me. Grateful to be reintroduced to this book. I'm so glad. Good now, V. Oh my goodness. And who else is here? Donna, Belinda. Good now, loves. I love it, love it, love it. I tried to click on the button. I mean, the Linda, good now, love. Who else is in here? Ooh, that puppy. Haley, good now, love. Marjorie, good now. Chrissy, good now. I will start to learn y'all's pictures some point. Oh, how's everyone feeling? Good now, Katie. Morning. I hear Katie. Morning. Morning, everyone. Still cannot see the chat. Well, I will keep reading everything for you. That's so frustrating. I get it. Kim says, super fun to be with you at a time other than our usual 5:30 a.m. I know, right? I'm getting ready for company, so we'll be listening. Awesome sauce. IT's chat thing is so wonky. I get it. It is. It really is. I'll pop right into a live and won't see anything. I'm like, that is just rude. Good now, Rochelle. The sun is out. I love that. I can tell. Well, you can tell behind me too. Oh my goodness. Who else has popped in? Seeds. That's a really cool image. Who else do we have? Simran. Good now, love. I'll give it just a minute or so. Good now, Jean. Is it Jean or Jean? How do I pronounce your name? I'm guessing it's kind of more of a French accent. Please, if you know how to phonetically spell it so I can pronounce your name correctly, anyone who if I mispronounce your name, please spell it for me phonetically so I can correctly say it. I'm pretty good at once I can see how it's supposed to be said. Good now, Jamie. Good now, Anne. Thankful heart. I love it. Who else has popped in that I've not said good now to? Katrina, good now. I just was clicking on you. Good now, Nicole and all from Jamie. She just puts love, sparkles, and infinity symbol. I love it. We have some folks who can't see the chat, so I am commentating. Is that the right word? On everything. And I'm gonna pull up the other chat window just in case someone from another platform wants to chime in. Because I sometimes forget to pull that up, and those poor folks, I unintentionally ignore them. Thank you for the hearts. All right, are y'all ready for this book? Are there any other insights that came through? French accent, you're right. Good morning. Thank you. So is it Jean? I love it. I love different names. Charbonneau. Yeah, I'm not gonna try it. I don't want to butcher your name, but as long as I hear it, I can pronounce it. But me trying to figure it out, just reading it, it may or may not work. All right. Before we hop into chapter 8, I think it's chapter 8. Is there any takeaways, any questions from the previous chapters? If you were here for the first time, the previous chapters, we have recorded these sessions, which is why I had to make sure I get this. When y'all first popped in, I was like, oh yeah, I need to put this, make sure it goes on to YT. So they're on my channel, my tubular channel. If you go to my profile, click about, scroll down to the link. It is like the 5th or 6th link in my profile, my channel. Occasionally, I have to close the app completely and reopen it a few times to see the chat. Yeah, Jamie, for sure. Same. And it's like, wait, how long has this teacher been going? And because if you leave and their session is technically over, you can't get back in usually, unless you go on the web. You can kind of maybe catch it, but all right, I'm getting too extra. Can y'all hear the music okay? Because if you can, that means you'll hear the book okay. Who else has popped in? Kelly, good now, love. You can only hear me? Okay. Probably because of the mic I'm using. Let me switch mics. Oh, because I'm using the rodent mic. How about that mic? Can you hear it? The music? Nope. Okay. I know you'll hear it with the now. Okay, how about now? You get into extra. I caught that, Nicole. I love you. You make me laugh. I love you too, Donna. Good now, Paul. How about now? Can you hear it? La música. I still don't hear it? That's interesting. Hold on. Let me see what mic this is on. I'm glad I asked because that would have been. Oh, okay. That would have been. All right. How about now? No music. I need to move the speaker closer. What says you all? You hear something? I mean, it's not like it's just chill music, so we're both quiet. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me do something. Let me try this. Oh, you know why? Because the audio there has a noise reduction thing on. How about okay? Is that better? Okay. How about now? Good. Good. Want to make sure you hear the book. Okay, so like I was saying, chapters 1 through 7 are on my tubular channel, Tube of You. If you did not catch those ahead of time, okay, excellent, perfect, thank you. I also want to just fair warning. One, I am not a licensed mental health professional. I do help people with challenges, but I'm not a licensed professional. We are reading Letting Go. This can be a mirror, and sometimes what we see in the mirror is not fun. Good now, Jeffrey. Sometimes we may not like what we see. Good now, Johnny. So if anything becomes too much, please take care of yourself. You can share in a chat if the group having group pour into you helps you, but if not, if you need to step away from the live, that is also okay. It's not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. You're taking care of yourself, and I respect it. So, with that said, we are going to be reading about anger this morning. And by reading, I mean listening, because I'm going to let the narrator read to you. And did I say good now to everyone before we hop in? I think I did. Everyone that I can see, and good now to anyone who is in incognito mode. I am going to pull up the book and mute the music. Such an abrupt stop. Okay. In summation, from rage to mild, kind of the motivation of selfishness and desire. Chapter 8. There we go. Anger. Anger may vary all the way from rage to mild resentment. Can you hear that? It includes revenge, outrage, indignation, fury, jealousy, vindictiveness, spite, hatred, contempt, wrath, argumentativeness, hostility, sarcasm, impatience, frustration, negativity, aggression, violence, revulsion, meanness, rebellion, explosive behavior, agitation, abusiveness, abrasiveness, smoldering, sullenness, pouting, and stubbornness. These variations of anger are well exemplified
by the daily news on television. Anger may come up about the technique of surrender itself. Anger that one is expected to let go of feelings that in the past have been valued. Anger at the fear of loss. Anger at feelings in general. Anger at a feeling that does not relinquish immediately. There is a lot of energy in anger. Therefore, we may actually feel energized when we are irritated or angry. One of the tricks people learn is to move up quickly from apathy and grief into anger, and then to jump from anger to pride, and then on into courage. In anger, there is the energy for action. This results in doingness in the world. When the have nots of the world become energized by desire and move up to anger over what they lack, that anger moves them into the actions necessary to fulfill their dreams for a better life. The quantity of suppressed anger in the population can be verified quickly by seeing how popular violence is in the media, where the viewers are presented with a vicarious experience of letting out their anger in the form of beatings, shootings, stabbings, lynchings, killings of various bad guys. We typically feel so much guilt about anger that we find it necessary to make the object of our anger wrong, so that we may say our anger is justified. Few are the persons who can take responsibility for their own anger and just say, I am angry because I am full of angriness. Using anger positively. It is common for people to repress their anger, aggression, and inner hostility. They view it as unpleasant, undignified, and even as a moral failure or spiritual setback. They do not realize that repressed anger is nonetheless the energy of anger, and if not acknowledged and worked through, it will have deleterious consequences to their health and overall progress. The intention behind anger is negative, and it will have similar consequences even if it is not expressed. A helpful approach is to view the energy of anger positively and to use it to fire up our ambitions and our actions in a useful way. For instance, let's say that we are angry at our boss. We feel resentful. He never seems to acknowledge our abilities or efforts. But we know it's unwise to express anger and resentment. It would very likely result in the loss of our job, or at least bring on the continued resentment of the boss. At best, the expression of anger would result in a tacky situation. Instead, we can make a decision to use that energy in a constructive way in our own behalf. It can be the inspiration for us to create a project that, because of its excellence, proves our point. It might be the energy for us to move up and out of a situation that is unsatisfactory. We can utilize that energy to create new job opportunities or find a better job, form a committee, improve our employment situation, start a union, or whatever we think would benefit our personal goals. In personal relationships, the same opportunity exists. The anger can be utilized to inspire us to improve our communication skills, take a course on interpersonal relationships, or enroll in a self improvement program. The anger can inspire us to rededication, to put forth greater clarity of effort, and to actually do a better job. In this way, the situation can result in recommitment. It can inspire us to look within ourselves and relinquish all the negative feelings via acceptance. Instead of being mad about it, we can accept it. Self-sacrifice. There are many sources of anger. We have already mentioned that very often a complex of angry feelings is connected with fear, and the anger disappears when we let go of the fear. Another source of anger is that of pride, and especially that aspect of pride called vanity. Frequently, it is our personal pride that feeds and propagates the anger. One source of pride is connected with self sacrifice. If our relationships with others are associated with our small self in the form of sacrifice, then we are setting ourselves up for later anger because the other person is usually unaware of our sacrifice. and is therefore unlikely to fulfill our expectations. An example of this comes from a day in the life of a typical traditional marriage. The wife spends the entire day working hard at cleaning the house, meticulously looking after the plants, bringing in flowers, rearranging some furniture, and doing all she can to make the house look beautiful. When the husband comes home, he doesn't say a word about the house or even seem to notice. Instead, he is exhausted from a day at work, and he recounts its various trials and tribulations. In his mind, he is thinking of all the self sacrifices he has made: the irate customers, the arduous drive through commuter traffic, the irritable boss, and the pressure of deadlines. He is thinking of all that he has done for his wife and family. While he is thinking of all this hardship, she is feeling a mounting resentment that he hasn't acknowledged her efforts. And she goes back in her mind over all the sacrifices she made that day. She could have gone out for lunch with friends. She could have finished reading the book that she is enjoying. She could have watched her favorite program on television. Instead, she did all of this for him, and now he is making no comment on the results of her efforts. As both harbor their grudges, resentments, and frustrations, their inner anger mounts. It is expressed as coolness and detachment as they escape into television for the evening and go to bed silently to brood over their grievances. This is such a typical American home scene that it is almost banal to repeat it here. Yet its commonness speaks of its learning value to us. We can examine it and try to unravel this decline of a relationship. That which we want, desire, and insist upon from another person is felt by them as pressure. They will, therefore, unconsciously resist. In the above example, both persons are looking for acknowledgement. They want it, desire it, but block it in each other. Each side feels pressured and consequently resistant. The resistance is because pressure is always felt by us as a denial of our choice. It is felt as emotional blackmail. The unconscious formula goes: give me what I want, or I will punish you by withdrawal, anger, pouting, sulking, and resentment. We all resent feeling emotionally blackmailed. We all know the resistance we feel when we become aware that somebody is fishing for a compliment. And the same resistance goes on unconsciously as well as consciously. When we are motivated by self sacrifice, we are pressuring the other person. Even if we force an acknowledgement, it will be a disgruntled one. A forced compliment does not satisfy. Part of the anger here arises from the pride of self sacrifice. We have a certain secret vanity about what we are doing for others, and our pride of achievement makes us vulnerable to anger when our sacrifice is not recognized. The way to offset this anger is to acknowledge and relinquish the pride, surrender our desire for the pleasure of self pity, and instead view our efforts on behalf of others as gifts. We can experience the joy of being generous with others as its own reward. Acknowledgement. One of the great secrets of relationship is acknowledgement. The behavior of others toward us always includes a hidden gift. Even if that behavior appears negative, there is something in it for us. Very often, that something appears in the form of a signal to us to become more aware. Let's say, for example, that somebody calls us stupid. Our natural response is one of anger. We can use the energy of that anger consciously. What is that person asking me to become more aware of? If we ask ourselves the question, we may come to the realization that we were being self centered. We were being uncaring. We were failing to acknowledge them. And we were not being conscious and aware of what was going on in the relationship. If we constantly follow this procedure, we will come to the awareness that everyone in our life is acting as a mirror. They are really reflecting back to us what we have failed to acknowledge within ourselves. They are forcing us to look at what needs to be addressed. What aspect of our smaller self needs to be relinquished? This means that we have to constantly let go of our pride in order to undo anger, so that we can be grateful for the continual opportunities of growth with which we are presented in the course of everyday experience. To do this, we have to resist the temptation to indulge in making ourselves and others wrong. If we look at the small self aspect of ourselves, we will see that making ourselves and others wrong is one of its favorite activities, e.g., politics and the media. This is because the small self is ignorant of better ways to accomplish our goals. It does not see the alternative, which is choosing to change a situation out of free choice. One way we force ourselves out of unsatisfactory situations is by making ourselves or the situation wrong. Instead of merely choosing to find a better job, for instance, our smaller self makes the job, the boss, and fellow workers wrong. Because of the picture of wrongness, the situation now becomes intolerable, and we are forced to change it. How much easier it would have been had we just simply chosen to move on to a better situation. However, because of our sense of obligation, guilt is very often the block to this simpler way. In other words, because of what has benefited us in a situation, we feel guilty about leaving it. So the unconscious ingeniously has created the whole mechanism of wrongness to force us out of dead end situations. This often happens in interpersonal relationships where we feel that we have to make the other person wrong in order to justify leaving them. Resorting to the mechanism of wrongness is simply a denial of our own freedom to choose. One source of anger stems from the unacknowledged acts of the love that we have expressed to others. Love in this context means the everyday simple forms of lovingness that go on in every human relationship in the form of thoughtfulness, consideration, polite gestures, encouragement, and providing. Very often, an internal dialogue can go on for years about our resentment over the other person's lack of appreciation for our feelings about them. If this is so for us, it must be the case for others as well. There are people, therefore, in our life who are walking around with an endless mental stream of thoughts about us, having to do with our lack of appreciation of their feelings for us. This whole arena of anger can be offset and prevented when we see the enormous value of simply acknowledging the gestures of others toward us. This means to acknowledge all of their communications to us. For instance, if friends call us on the phone, we thank them for calling us. The reason for doing this is that it makes the other persons feel complete and secure with us. It is an acknowledgement of their value in our life, and everyone feels pleased when we acknowledge their value. By this simple mechanism of acknowledgement, it is possible, within a matter of days, to transform all of one's relationships in a rather dramatic way. This acknowledgement does not have to go on in the outer world, but can take place within oneself. As we examine our relationships, we can ask ourselves, what have I failed to acknowledge in those with whom I have daily contact? It is a very valuable experience to pick someone in our life who, in our view, is critical toward us, and now, within ourselves, begin to look at how we have failed to acknowledge them. We surrender all of our negative feelings about them, and we begin to give them credit, affirming their value to us. Their value may simply be that they are a spur to our emotional growth and development. The nagging spouse or scowling neighbor is trying to say something. Almost always in this sort of situation, such persons are not feeling acknowledged for the contribution they are making to our life. Once their value to us has been acknowledged, the nagging stops. Expectations. When we stop pressuring others with our expectations, we create an opening for them spontaneously to respond positively to us. We can, in a prophylactic move, offset resentments by shifting what we have done for others from the level of sacrifice to the level of a loving gift. We can then acknowledge ourselves for this move and drop our expectations, which will dissolve the resistances in others. A simple experiment illustrates this shift. There was a man who brought back two new shirts from Mexico. The new shirts were of a totally different design than the kind of clothes he was accustomed to wearing. The first day that he decided to wear one of the shirts, he noticed he had an inner expectation and a sort of subtle pride in doing something new and different. However, instead of surrendering the pride, he decided to keep it. That is, he purposefully didn't use the letting go technique to surrender the pride and simply let it be there. He wanted to see what would happen, how people would respond. That day, he proudly wore the new shirt, and sure enough, nobody even mentioned it, despite the fact that it was totally different from his usual attire. It must have really stood out, but there was not a single comment. When he went home, he had to laugh at how true was entrepreneur Robert Ringer's term for that kind of a situation as the boy girl theory. Boy wants girl, therefore girl is disinterested in boy. As soon as boy is no longer interested in girl, girl now wants boy. The next morning, he decided he would wear the other new shirt, but this time he surrendered all of his vanity and his expectations of being noticed. He let go of that little pride that he was doing something new and different, and he acknowledged the love of all his friends and the important part they played in the happiness of his life. By the time he got through the letting go process, he was totally surrendered on wearing the shirt. He knew he was totally surrendered because it was okay if they noticed the new shirt and it was okay if they didn't. That day was suddenly like New Shirt Day. Almost every person he met commented on the new shirt, asked him where he had gotten it, and he spent the day getting lots of attention. This experiment humorously makes the point we get what we want when we stop insisting on it. Expectation of others is a form of emotional blackmail. We can feel our resistance when others pull for certain emotional goods from us. We can get away from being emotionally blackmailed by looking at how we do it with others. And then we can let go of wanting to manipulate their emotional responses toward us. Another way of preventing anger is by making a decision within oneself no longer to accept invalidation from others or the small aspect of oneself. This decision can be in the form of a firm declaration. I will no longer accept invalidation from myself or others. When this is coupled with the habit of acknowledging all that is positive within ourselves and others, relationships rapidly change, their potential sources of anger having been removed. Chronic resentment. Chronic, unrecognized anger and resentment reemerge in our life as depression, which is anger directed against oneself. If pushed further into the unconscious, it can reemerge as psychosomatic illnesses. Migraine headaches, arthritis, and hypertension are frequently cited examples of chronic suppressed anger. These symptoms are very often alleviated as people learn how to let go of their inner anger. For example, in one study, the blood pressure measurements of the participants were taken before and after they received instruction on how to let go of negative emotion. All the people with hypertension showed drops in their blood pressure, both the systolic and diastolic, the upper and lower numerical readings, once they started letting go of the emotional pressure that they had built up over the years. The Stanford University Forgiveness Project confirms the cardiac benefits of relinquishing anger and resentment. In the program, parents of children killed in the Protestant Catholic violence in Ireland learned how to let go of their bitterness toward the enemy. Measurements of their cardiac health and physical stamina showed significant improvement. Luskin, 2003. Forgiveness healed their hearts, literally. As we have said before, with muscle testing, we can prove instantly that anger and resentment have a deleterious effect on the body, emotions, energy flow, and on the synchronization of the brain hemispheres. Anger kills the angry person, not the so called enemy. The mind would like us to think that there is such a thing as justifiable anger, which takes the form of moralistic indignation. If we look at moralistic indignation, we will see that it is propped up by vanity and pride. We like to think how right we are in a situation and how wrong the other persons are. We get a passing, cheap little satisfaction out of that. But our muscle testing proves what the cost is to our overall emotional and physical economy. The price we pay for chronic anger and resentment is sickness and premature death. Is this worth the small satisfaction of being right? The cost that we are willing to pay in these kinds of circumstances is sometimes surprising. Let's say we have a situation in which we made a loan to someone who has never paid us back. We have a chronic resentment about it, and when we meet the person socially, we say as little as possible. If we get honest with ourselves, we will likely see that we are getting satisfaction out of our being right and the other person's being wrong. In fact, we are enjoying it so much that a part of us really doesn't want him to pay off the debt, because then we would no longer be able to enjoy the secret pleasure of making him wrong. This was precisely true in a case involving several $100s. The inner decision was made on the part of the lender to be honest about all the little satisfactions of being right and making the other person wrong, and then to surrender on each one of these ego payoffs. Clearly, the ego payoffs were blocking the other person from repaying the loan. With continual surrender, the whole deal was totally let go, and a shift was made to view the loan as a gift. Admittedly, this other person had really needed the money. Why not simply see it as a gift and let go of the expectation of repayment? Now, instead of resentment, gratefulness predominated, because there had been the opportunity to help another human being in a moment of real need. Within 48 hours, a check arrived in the mail for the entire amount with a note of apology for the delay in repayment. This experience, and many like it, demonstrate how we are all psychically connected. The internal position we hold about another person is forcing them to adopt a complementary defensive position. It is, therefore, not Pollyanna to forgive and forget, but a reasonable recognition of emotional realities. The interactions between human beings are determined by the configurations of the vibrational energies that their emotions are radiating into space. The energy of the vibration and the thought form with which it is associated create a readable record. Although this common everyday experience is hardly news to most women, who in our society are characteristically more intuitive, it comes as a shock and surprise to a large percentage of men. In our society, men are characteristically left-brained and given to reason and logic rather than intuition, which is characterized as a right-brain function. As we continue to let go of negativity and bring about inner emotional healing, there is a greater balance between left and right brain function. The intuitive faculty is also available in men. They are often pleasantly surprised as they begin to recognize its emergence. It is satisfying and surprising to be able instantly to read a situation that was totally baffling to reason and logic. The ideal situation is to form a working hypothesis with intuition and then to use reason and logic to check it out. This, of course, offsets the anger that arises from misunderstanding and miscalculation, and it increases the skillful mastery of emotions. Another thing that dissipates anger is our mere willingness to relinquish it. Willingness is our overall decision to find a better way, to stop relying on anger, and to move up to courage and acceptance. This willingness already starts the process of relinquishing anger. As students of the martial arts are well aware, anger indicates weakness and vulnerability. It is seen as a tool that we are handing to our opponent. We can see from muscle testing why this is so. The angry person has already lost half his muscle power and has therefore lost the split second timing that is so decisive to victory in hand to hand combat. It is so prevalent in our society to include the propensity to anger as a male macho attribute. We hear people swelling with pride as they relate how they told that guy off. We can ask ourselves, who needs enemies? Isn't there enough negative influence in our life without adding one more? Especially when we look at the fact that all emotions generate a vibrational energy in the universe. What is the point of surrounding ourselves with negative thought forms about those we view as enemies? Why go out of our way to hold on to them as enemies by stockpiling resentments and negativity in ourselves? Likely, when we review our own personal experiences, we will see that the effort involved in converting people we once considered enemies into friends brought gratification and a later reward. In most cases, they proved to be a positive benefit to our life. We never know whom in a later chapter of the book of life we are going to need as a friend. We need to be aware that we have unwittingly become injustice collectors. The media reports are full of this form of chronic resentment. We see injustice collecting in international relations, where making the other nation wrong is actually a primary objective. We are unconsciously programmed to believe that injustice collecting is normal. In contrast to this habitual pattern, which is destructive and weakening, the letting go technique frees us from keeping close account of the wrongs made against us. Our time and attention are freed up to see the beauty and opportunity around us. Anger is binding, not freeing. It connects us to another person and holds them in our life pattern. We are stuck in a negative pattern until we let go of the energy of anger and its little payoffs of righteous indignation, feeling wronged, and the desire for revenge. It may not be exactly the same person who constantly recurs in our life. If not that person, then others will appear who have the same quality that triggers our anger and resentment. This will keep recurring until we finally handle our inner angriness. Then, suddenly, people with that quality disappear from our life. Therefore, anger may force someone to be physically distant from us, but psychically it binds them to us more closely until we fully relinquish the anger and resentment. Relinquishing anger brings us many benefits. We are free to experience emotional comfort and ease, gratitude for the daily opportunities to grow and heal, mutual caring with another without subtle strings attached, improvement in health, and more life energy. These breakthroughs allow us to move up to a more effective and effortless state of inner freedom.
That is chapter 8. Any thoughts? Anything hurt? I don't know about the wife being home all day these days. Most parents, most couples, both are working, but I understood what he was getting at with that. And I'm just be quiet, let y'all process for a bit. Jamie says this chapter is bringing up some stuff from a previous workplace. Understanding where it comes from doesn't make it sting much less. It does offer a little forgiveness, though. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it will sting. I was thinking the same. Didn't like that analogy, but I get it. Yeah. Justin says nothing hurt, but I do think a lot of people I know who I should recommend this book, though, at work. They have to be open to that. Good now, Mindy. Hi, Nicole. What about anger from abuse or bullying? I feel like that doesn't fit with The being explained. With what was being explained. That is very it's hard because you wanna be mad at those people, right? But just like he says, the one that is mad is the one that is making themselves sick. The people that did the bullying and all that, they aren't experiencing your anger to the level that you are. So you are literally punishing yourself by staying angry at them. And the universe matches that energy. So um the universe doesn't think in fair or not fair. It operates in energy. So if you stay at that angry level, you may find other things making you angry. So my thought to that is one, knowing that people who are abusive, there it's hard, but forgiving them because all they know is that, like, in their mind, they're in so much pain that it's starting to express outwardly as well. It's unfortunate that you were victimized, but you're not a victim. Drinking the poison so the other person hurts. Yeah. And thank you for asking that and sharing that. It's not easy, but just remember it's also not condoning and to love yourself enough to let that go. It doesn't feel it's definitely counterintuitive. It's not what we've learned growing up. But thank you, Jamie, for loving on Mindy. Not saying angry at them, just angry with how I've been treated for so long. I feel like it's different. I'm still still kind to them. Not knowing the whole situation, anger is still not serving you, or anger at how you're being treated is not serving you. I would there's so much there. So much just going through my head. um, one, you teach people how to treat you. Um, I wish I could say more. I don't think it's serving me. Just wondering what to do with it. Yeah. Um, not knowing the whole situation, I don't know how you're being treated and how you're responding to. I know you said you're being kind, but people will only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. As an adult, as a kid, you can't really say that because you're very vulnerable. You're dependent upon those adults. But as an adult, they can only treat you what you will allow to the extent that you allow. So I would start there, um, and figuring out like how are you upholding your own boundaries, your values, and if that part is challenging for you, then you can do some clearing around that. But um, that's where I would start. Um, I stood up for myself, but it didn't seem like it turned out well. Okay, thank you for yeah. I would definitely if it didn't feel like it turned out well, it probably turned out exactly how it needed to for your highest good. But yes, do message me. I can be more specific. Simran says I had multiple opportunities to get energetic debt paid back from people, but I was so angry that I kept fighting. Now I feel ashamed. Simran, don't feel ashamed. It's honestly when I read stuff like this, I'm like, why is this stuff not taught to people at earlier earlier in life? So you only know what you know when you know it, right? So now that you know, oh, well, dang, I was not helping myself by being angry. Just start releasing. Just like he says, the little payoffs that you get from being angry, releasing that. Don't be hard on yourself because that just compounds. It does you no good. So no shame. I hope you love on yourself, please. Katie says it's hard for people. It's not easy for some to let go. It takes a lot of practice in that job context. It does take practice. And it would, in multiple chapters, he's like letting go things little by little, breaking it down. Because it's usually not just one thing that's creating those feelings, it's a whole bunch of little things. And so letting go little by little, and you'll start to loosen and breathe a lot better. Standing up for yourself is key. People are crazy and rude, takes so much practice and get support. Therapist, it's real. Thank you, Katie. Jamie says, imagine how much better off we would all be if we taught emotional intelligence and regulation in school. Super facts. Yes, all of that. However, now that we are here, learning it, getting better at it, we have the responsibility to help the younger folks if they bring that to us, how to handle these types of situations. That's why we take it on this knowledge for our own health, but also it heals going forward and behind us as well as we heal. So thank you again for being here. See, I always celebrate you for showing up for you because you are showing up for the world when you do that. So yes, selfishly heal yourself, please, because it heals more than just you. Jamie, Mindy, and Sunram, Katie is sending y'all love. Thank you, Katie. Simran, I hope you are loving on yourself. Release the shame. I get it too. Guilt is a thing. It is definitely self-punishment, but guilt's a thing as well. I try, but it's so hard. It is. It's probably something you've done for a long time. And your ego is like, if I do that, then I'm letting myself off the hook. That is something I dealt with. If I do that, that you're not letting yourself off the hook. Giving yourself grace does a lot more for you mentally, physically, emotionally than beating yourself up. And it does a lot for people in your circle because you're harboring that energy. And I don't know if you've ever walked into a room where people were like upset or angry or something was off and you could like feel that energy and you're like, don't think I want to be in there. I'm just going to go this way. Like you holding on to that stuff, you are part of creating that too. So releasing it, you'll start to be lighter. Your health will be better. I don't know what your health is, but it improves health. It improves so many things. Relationships, experiences. So just little by little. You don't have to try to do it all at once. And so the way you do that is when you feel that resistance of letting that go come up, you let that resistance go. Yeah. Let the resistance go and then start to let that go. I'm sorry to hear that. As you start to let go, things will shift. I've seen it. I've done it. Justin says, Katie, I went through that too, especially they press your buttons, especially standing up for yourself is not easy. And I've done it and it hasn't come out as cleanly as I liked it, but still put them enough in their place to back off and respect the metaphysical line I put. Getting there was not easy. A lot of conflictish videos watched. That is a good person to follow on IG. He's also on the Tube of You. Simran suggestions, let them. Mel Robbins, Lisa Romano, IT talks on narcissists. Thank you, Katie. Judy says, I have trouble knowing whether I'm setting a boundary or am doing a consequence to try to teach the other person a lesson. Thank you for bringing that up. Your boundaries are going to be in line with your values. If you're blocking someone just because you're mad at them, that is you teaching a lesson. But if you are like, this is how I'm going to allow people to treat me, and you don't allow that, that is you setting your boundaries. Does that make sense, Judy? Does that help? I can elaborate more if need be. Okay, you're welcome. Any other thoughts, questions? Simran, and am I saying your name correctly first off? Because I want to make sure I honor the vibration of your name, the frequency. Um, when you're stressed, angry, or frustrated, what do you do right now to kind of bring yourself up and out of that feeling? And anyone actually can answer that if you want. It's Simran. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Simran, is that right? Did I say that correct? Did I did I pronounce the phonetic spelling correctly? Because I have been known to do that do that incorrectly too. Simran. I like it. And anyone share when you feel yourself getting angry or frustrated or I love that. After when I said it correctly, I felt different. Like this is why I say, y'all, if I ever mispronounce anyone's name, please. Like I felt a sense of like when I said it correctly, it felt differently. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. But yes, what tools do some of you use to bring yourself out of that and not hold on to anger? Just I'm asking to so that you can share because there are people here who may not feel comfortable speaking up. So they're listening, they're receiving. So please do share. Listen to Lisa Romano's tracks has been incredibly helpful. I was finally able to stop asking why and what did I do. I now understand it wasn't about me. Absolutely. You journal frantically. Okay. Jamie, if you could put some of her tracks in my group, that would be awesome. Thank you. Um, and exactly why questions never get you anywhere. Thank you, Simran. The journaling. Um, Also listen to teachings that resonate with me. Awesome. So in that, because what I used to do is I would listen to great information, but I would not put things into action. So as you're learning these things, what are you also doing? Because just listening is not going to do any, it'll help, but it won't fully help until you have the experience. So it's like you got the intellectual side, but you need the experiential side to have the knowingness. So what are you also doing? Grace says, sometimes I get in my emotions around people's negative energy in their negative circumstance situations. Often I remember the words of Muji. He says that is not your business. It is none of your concern. So I tell myself to drink water and mind yours. I like it. Yeah, and as Jamie also said, it's definitely not about you. I was sharing this last night on the crown permission to crown yourself call. Um, I asked this young lady, she sat in my chair at an event, and she's had this fear of rejection. And so I asked her, has she ever rejected anyone or something? And after she thought about it, she's like, yeah, because something, it was not good for me or something like that. I was like, exactly. It was not about that other person. It was about you taking care of yourself. Or sometimes from when people are harmful, it's still not about you. It's just that you happen to be there that they're taking it out on. So it's not about you. It's about them, their inability to handle their own emotions. Unfortunately, you happen to be there. And then from that point, you have a choice on how you receive that. One thing that I've also noticed is the only time you will feel some type of way about someone saying something negative about you is if there's something in you that somewhat believes that. Because if they called you something else crazy that was negative that you didn't relate or resonate with, you wouldn't even phase you. So if someone is ever saying something that feels hurtful, I would go in a curious way, not in a judgment way, but in a curious way. It's like, what about that is resonating with me? Because I need to release that because we're not doing that no more. I know I kind of went off on a tangent a bit. Let me catch up on the chat. Debbie says, good now from Wisconsin. Use affirmations, positive statements, religious music. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Johnny says, movement and sometimes a punching bag. I love it. Dance for me helps. Um, Jamie says, in the moment, deep breaths exhale longer than the inhale to help regulate my nervous system. Beautiful. Mostly movement, yoga, walking helps a lot to release. Awesome. It's important that line is a line is put because when people feel like they can disrespect you without pushback, they cross that line habitually. They'll touchy because why not whether just I have no idea what you were trying to say in that part. I've been there. Very important to say something. um, let's see. Katie says to stop asking why is the deal. Yeah, because why? Why? If you've ever, nobody knows why, because usually you're doing stuff is irrationally because we're led by our subconscious. And our subconscious has been programmed by well-meaning adults way back in the day, or really bad experiences, and that will also cause you to do things that or try to protect yourself. And so that is the version of you that is mostly acting. You will never know why. It's not going to ever be rational. So when I work with people and we're doing energy work, I'm like, don't try to rationalize how you feel. And sometimes it can be embarrassed, like, why do I even feel that? I know better. You know better consciously, but your subconscious, there's something there that's like, no. And so I'm like, don't try to rationalize it. You're never, why questions get you nowhere. What about this helps? Is a better question. What about this really concerns me? Or what about this makes me feel this way? I say positive statements aloud. I meditate, do box breathing. I count my blessings. Love it, Debbie. B says, one of the lessons shared by an elder that gives me perspective of understanding. You can't expect you and other people. Causes me to pause. Exactly. That is another thing that trips people up too. It's like, well, that's how I am. Well, they should be the same way. Yeah, that's wonderful that they're not because we don't need a whole bunch of same people, but also it can make it challenging if you don't keep that perspective. Thank you, B. Absolutely. This is what I would have done. Well, they have a whole different lens. And a part of the book I read last night would give you that a whole different perspective. I actually still have the book up. It's in the Fifth Agreement. Simran says, your name just, I feel it in my gut when I say it, like in a good way. Simran says, these days I've been holding tension in my pelvic area, so I'm having to stretch a lot. Sometimes it even brings emotional release. Got you. I wonder if you acknowledge out loud to yourself that it's okay to have this and then allow yourself to release it. I feel like some of you keeping it is you judging yourself for even having it in the first place. I don't know if I'm right, but that's what just came to mind. Um, so if that is the case, and that's for anybody here, if you are judging yourself for having these certain feelings and you're beating yourself up, I would first release the judgment because what is that being based on? And then, yeah, release the judgment. And it's kind of what I was talking about last night, even. It's like, who defines these things? It's usually a definition that comes from early in life that you haven't really challenged or questioned to see if it aligns with the way you believe things should be. So, um, that would be the first place. That's probably what makes it hard for you to let go, is because you're judging that first. So, release the judgment. There's no book of life. There's no, well, the Gita is a pretty good book, but outside of that, there's no book that says you should do this, that, and the other. So you only know what you know when you know it. And then when you know differently, you have a that expands your choices. When you don't know that much, you only have a few choices because that's all you know. But the more you learn, and that's where the freedom comes from. Freedom comes from recognizing all these options that you can choose from. That's really what freedom is. Okay, me on this horse. um, let's see. We aren't taught this. It's not about that. It's not about you. Yeah, we aren't. We're taught a murky idea of good manners. I will add some Romano tracks also. Thank you, KD. Donna says busted. No. Hugging, hugging, hugging. Well, I will get our call scheduled for next week. Simran says, yeah, I think I need to stop rationalizing and judging my emotions. Baby steps. Celebrating you. How does it feel when you think about that, Simran? When you think about letting go of trying to rationalize and judge? Like, I hope that brought like some kind of release. What I mean is by touch, like touching your shoulders. Oh, hitting your back, putting you in headlocks. Got it. Sorry, I didn't explain that more clearly. You don't need to apologize. I, I know you're typing and then like your mind is going faster than your fingers. I get it. Or if you're on a, I don't know if you're on a computer, but that's what I mean by touching. If I'm not comfortable with that person, understood. Yeah, that you do have to speak up. Music and dancing is another good one for me. I get it out, leave it on the dance floor, and walk away with a smile. Love that, Jamie. Speaking of dancing, just gonna throw this up here for next Tuesday because that's literally what our monthly move and sit is for, is to release what we don't want to take with us in the next month. Just we dance and then we sit, meditate together to meditate on what we want to bring in the next month. I try to rationalize to the point of confusion. Definitely good, Simran. I'm glad that that helps a little. Yeah, Donna, the rationalizing. I can't remember if you have a one in your profile, but I get it. I get it. It's what has gotten you through your things up until this point, and now it's starting to get in the way. So, yeah, yeah. So that that doesn't help. The ones in the human design profile, you're looking for answers and understanding. Um, Katie says, Justin, any touching is not appropriate, period, especially at work. Yeah. Jamie says, we hold a lot in our hips. It can build up there when we struggle to move past something. Thank you, Jamie. Where did that come from? Is that women or people in general? Justin says, Katie, I agree. People get too comfortable, especially in this context, especially when people are disrespectful and they feel like they can do just anything to you. It does give you release. Good. I meant relief, Simran. Good. I love that. Nobody touches me without my permission. Facts. Simran says so true, Jamie. hmm I think people in general. Hips, gut, throat, nobody. That includes family, especially male family members. Learned and at an early age, no means no. It does. It is a single statement sentence or single word sentence. Thank you all for FUR for for being open and sharing and allowing each other and myself to pour in and offer other perspectives, broadening your options for dealing with what life throws at you, basically. Thank you for sharing. Any other thoughts, challenges that could use some support? In the meantime, let me say good now to some folks. Rhonda, Solomon, Cindy. Who else has popped in? Trish from AZ. Trish AZ. I like it. Cameron, good now, love. Who else has popped in? K White Trevino. Love it. Good now. ABC, good now. Makes me want to catch up on some conflictish. Is saying for instead of for a regional. No, it's me. Many years ago, I noticed that I do it. I don't know if it's regional, but y'all have met me, which is how Letta's family came about. And when I read the cards in the morning, and I'll say, "Let me read the card again," I'm like, "Oh wait, not sweater, not cardigan." I think they just become one word, fur. So I catch myself. Maybe, maybe the country in me. Good now, guys. Megan, good now, love. Lisa, did I see Lisa? Jessica, good now. Susie, good now. Just me and my lazy tongue. Who have I not said good now to? Carolyn, good now. Karen, good now. It's a beautiful sunset picture. I think it's sunset. Monica G, good now, love. And Monica K, I love it. Monica with a K, rather. Maribel, good now. I know that puppy. Good now, Alicia. Any other thoughts, takeaways from this chapter? I know it's challenging. Oh, you do have your accent. It's good. We Americans have regional effects. It's nice. Yeah, where is mine from? Is it Maryland? Is it South Carolina? Is it DC? That's where I spent most of my years. But I can grab other accents if you like. Shall I have something else? Okay. Um, thank you for the love, by the way. Yep, you're good. Thank you. All of it, just all of it. What other questions, thoughts, comments? Yes, good now, cousins. I love it. I just received my book this week. Yay, yay, yay. Good, I'm glad. What did I miss? I think I got all the bubbles that I can see. I love that. I love that, cousins. I love that. We are all related, all connected. Yep. Mm. Is everyone still processing this chapter? I know it was like, oof, some parts may have been, or some parts may be like, I wish everybody could read this. Nothing to correct. Oh, what was I saying? I tried to correct it a long time ago and gave up. It's just how I say it. Fur. Yeah, definitely. Like Katie said, nothing to correct. I any no accent. I love accents from all over the world. So whenever someone tries to change their accent, I'm like, please don't. Just allow my ear to be able to adjust to hearing you. Or don't change your name because Americans can't pronounce it. Give me the opportunity to pronounce it properly. No. Hearts to everyone. I just love doing it. I think as they come, like, if I keep my hands up, they'll keep coming up. No, I gotta put them down. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll keep screaming. Either way, there you are. Más corazones. All right, so what we got? What we got? Are y'all good for the day? Y'all need to process? Has anyone ever done alternate nostril breathing? Because that's also a good thing to bring your nervous system back online. Do you know how to do it? Do we need to walk through how to do it? Do you have a group on IT? I do, Karen. You do it. You love that one? Awesome. Um, nostril, yep, alternate nostril. So yes, my love, if you go to my profile and scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see Antara Mastery, World Peace Through Inner Peace. And our beautiful community has shared all kinds of tracks for different things. And then Katie and Jamie said they'll be putting some tracks in there that will help kind of what we've been talking about today. So yes, I'd love to have you join us. Yes, but walk through. Okay, I will do, Rhonda. I thought about if I share this with those who I think need it, especially this part, they may not be in the correct frame of mind for it. Yeah. But then that's just me assuming more people need to read this. Yeah. You can also you're so welcome, love. You can also, oh, thank you, messenger of love. We just read chapter 8. Yeah, anger. Um, what was I gonna say? Justin, that is true. It's just there's a balance to it. Um, just or I could say if you share it, just don't have any expectation. You can have a great intent, just don't be attached to what happens. I ordered at my library. Does this class meet weekly? Yes, we do. Um, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern. The easiest, unless something is going on on my Saturday that I can't be here, I will be here. So the easiest way to find it, you're welcome, love. If you go to my profile and click on events, um, you can see it and you can add it to your calendar so you can be reminded. If you follow me, you'll also get reminders um, of when I schedule an event and when I'm about to go live. Um, awesome, awesome. Yep, every Saturday. Rhonda asked me to do alternate nasal breathing, and I can do that. I'm gonna do something really quick. It's actually one of the asanas, for lack of a better word, that we do right before meditation. I was trying to, I wanted to double check like here it is. So the one that we do in my school is called Supranayama, and that just means pleasant, easy breathing. And some of the listed benefits, I'm reading this real quick because it's not memorized. But it's good for reducing anxiety, helps stabilize and calm the mind, purifies the blood, nervous system, and energetic channels, balances the hemispheres of the brain on an energetic level, and it conserves energy. There are cautions and contraindications. So if you have lung, throat, sinus issues, breathe naturally and slowly instead. If you have high blood pressure, breathe naturally and slowly. Otherwise, you may take deep breaths. I just do breathe naturally and slowly. You have to head out, Grace. Thank you, Nicole, for holding space, peaceful space for us. Navigate through. You're welcome. I'm extending healing vibes and sincerely wish everyone peaceful, kind, easy, lighthearted weekend. Peace, love, and light. Thank you, Grace. Right back at you, love. So that's alternate nostril breathing. And basically, you'll be using these two fingers and your thumb, and you'll inhale and exhale. And you can do it gently or you can do deeper breaths. I just like to do like regular breathing. And I tell you what, when I first did it, I was like, it's so uncomfortable. It feels so awkward. And I was like, this doesn't work. The school says to do it 4 to 5 minutes. When I got to the fourth minute, I was like, oh, I feel it. And now I love it. So if you've only done it just for a couple of minutes and it just feels like weird, do it for 4 minutes at least. You'll be in a whole different state. It's just like you blissed out. I'll probably do a track on it. Since we have videos. Well, they haven't been aired yet, but I've already done a couple video tracks, and this was one I was going to also do. So I may just do it and then do a quick meditation afterwards. So just like have a quick 10-minute reset using nasal breathing and a quick sit. Check out Brahmi breathing too. Awesome. Thank you. Is there someone on here, a teacher on here that has walked us through that, or just in general you're sharing that? Brahmi. Brahmi. Thank you, Simran. I just love saying your name. It is. It feels so like you should say your name to yourself. Whenever you get mad, just say Simran. You'll be like, all right, I'm blissful now. It's just a type of pranayama. Okay, thank you. Simran Mendy, I totally breathed through the afternoon at work yesterday. Some folks are just ridiculously wrong. That's who they are. But like I said, I had to practice and work with my therapist. I'm glad you'll do that now, Simran. Good. I'm saying it's just like you have a healing name. Katie is sending you love. Mindy is sending you love, Katie. I do that all the time. I do that backwards. It's also called bee breath. Got you. I think I've seen it or heard it. Pranayamas are all just beautiful. Breathe, girl. I love it, Katie. Yeah. There was another one that I recently learned through a workshop I was doing for with who was it? I can't remember his name. But it was a couple of folks like a multiple day workshop. Gabriel Méti was on there. The guy who wrote The Body Keeps the Score was on there. And then this other gentleman who I know I've read one of his books and I just can't remember his name, but he would like take a deep breath in and V out. I think it was V, and just like breathe it all out. It just like it jiggles the vagus nerve to kind of help reset the nervous system. So it's also really good. Just breathe out. It's hard for me to do it because I'm smiling right now. Right? When I'm not on camera, I could do it because I could like really focus. Brenda, good now, love. All right. If y'all feel served, I'm not gonna do a thick country accent because it's so hard for me to let it go once I start. But if y'all are feeling served, then I can bid you adieu and we can meet back. But as always, you have my group. So if anything comes up, any questions, any concerns, just feel free to message me in the group or direct message. My inbox is also open. I'd love to support, love to celebrate, like celebrating KD for doing what she needs to do to take care of her mental health. Thank you, Jamie. Jane. It's like, I know that puppy. Good now, Jane. I celebrate you all for being here. This work is not easy. Oh, thank you, Richard. This work is not easy. Thank you so much for your donation. So the fact that you consistently show up, I hope you can at least celebrate that part. If you're having a hard time celebrating some things, please just celebrate the fact that you keep showing up and you keep trying. You may feel like you're knocked down, but you keep getting back up and showing up. And that is not easy. So that just shows how strong you are. Stronger than you think. All right. Any last thoughts, questions, perspectives you want to share? If not, I will say thank you. Jay Gurudev, may you all love what you're doing. Thank you. Okay, Mindy, thank you. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Justin says, Nicole, you have a good day now. You here? Don't you start. I got the munchies. Need to head out and I tell you what. All right. Justin wants me to read in the country voice. Nicole, you have a good day now. You hear? I got the munchies. I need to head out. I'll tell you what. Take care, lettuce fam. That is what he was intending. Have a great day, night, beautiful people. You too. Much appreciated, Nicole, and all. You too, V. Thank you. Let us enjoy coffee. Yes, Katie. Coffee, tea, hot chocolate. Not bad. Thank you. You're welcome, Judy. Thank you. You're so welcome, Sinran. Thank you. Hamila. This will be on the tube of you if you missed any part of it and just want to catch it. Oh, Heather. Peter Levine, thank you. Thank you, Heather. I someone on the tube, Peter Levine, Vu. Thank you. I was like, I know it. Vu, Vu, not but. What was I saying? I said it wrong. So let me back up. Rewind. Peter Levine. What book does he write? Because I know I read it. Let me put you over here because the camera is over here. I can't remember what book, but I know I've read one of his books. And the it's Vu, not V or whatever I said earlier. But you take a deep breath and you say Vu and just let that out. It definitely does feel more vibratory. Waking the tigers. Thank you, Elena. See, this is why it takes a village. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The tiger, yes. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Keeping me straight. Thank you, thank you. All right. Now, for sure, for seriously, for real, I will bid you adieu. May you all create the most amazing now moments. Until I see you next time, make every moment count because that's all we have is this moment right here. For sure. This moment. Ciao for now. I love you. Peace, blessings. Ciao. Later. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you all for the hearts. So grateful for you. And thank you, Heather, and whoever else is on here. I can't see who's on here, but thank you for joining. And I'll see you around. Ciao.